I've made a mistake. I don't want to record on cloud. I prefer
Okay,
to record, yeah, I prefer to record on the system. Yes.
okay. It's not something small,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay. Yeah. So we are here for the October edition of the Boys Lounge. I love the Boys Lounge, even though the boys never let me get into their sessions. But it's fine as long as as long as they're doing well and they're enjoying it. You should hear the way they chase me, Okumaiwa. They go
Why?
like, I'm
You
like,
are
should I
just
go Antetima? Bye. So I don't bother. I just
why
set up
the
the room
chorus
for them.
by?
The chorus seats. I was like, should I still go?
But
Yes.
yes, why
So
not?
I'm like,
So
it's
it's
fine.
a
I
man issue.
understand. Know the boys.
Yeah.
Yes, that
They
kind of
don't want you
thing.
to be.
They don't want. They don't want
Ah,
me, and I've become very comfortable with it. So I just look forward to now spending
oh,
time with the girls.
how
So it's
interesting that
fine.
is.
So all I'll do is I'll just set it up, switch, go off, get off my video, get off my mic, and then they'll just have a good time with their mentor. So thank you so much, boys. This is Uncle Mayowa. I met him first on Facebook, then I bought his book. It was so wonderful, and then we just got connected like brother and sister. I listened to Uncle Mayowa speak on the Responsible Teens group on Facebook, and I was wowed. Actually, I've seen him write, but that was my first time of listening to him. I don't know whether he has honey inside his mouth or sugar or something. It was just,
You have
it
started.
was just like, hey, 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 hey. Not
Ah,
many male men, the men folk, not many of them know how to speak to youths. That's the truth. A lot of times they
okay.
are very stern, a lot of times they're very, very straight. And we don't like all those kind of, we want a blend of, connect with us and then drop your message. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. The things we
Thank you
do
too, man.
for this generation, the things we do for God, only Him can bless and reward us and pay us too.
Amen. Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
and so
Amen.
Uncle Maiwa is going to be speaking about how to handle peer pressure. Don't think that peer pressure will not come. It will come all the days of your life. You keep getting pressured by your peers. That is the truth. You face it at home, you face it in school, primary, secondary, university, up to whatever level. The peer pressure continues. I'll step out of the meeting room and Uncle Maiwa will get on board. And I hope that you enjoy this session. Thank you so much, boys, and good to see you here. Thank you, Uncle Mayo. I celebrate you, sir. I
I
celebrate you,
celebrate
sir.
you too, man. Thank you, man. Okay, good evening, guys. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Trust you're doing well. Trust you're keeping well. Good talking to you. Good relating with you. I appreciate you. How is everything with you? Are you resuming school? Is it? Are you still in secondary school, or you're planning to go into the university? What level of education are you going through? You must be planning something now, since things are picking up gradually after the lockdown. So I want you to be very wise in making your decisions and your choices at this type of season and period. So because as you are planning to resume school, wisdom is very much required for you to handle the situations. For this evening, I want to appreciate the privilege given to me by Auntie Tima to relate with you and speak with you on a subject that I am passionate to communicate to you, younger generations of our time. Now, I have a passion for younger people. I have a passion for you as a boy, as a young man, to grow up to becoming a responsible man, to grow up to becoming a man that will succeed, that will stand out in his generation. So I've done a lot of stuff to in my bid to reaching out to your generation. And then one of the research that I have made is peer pressure, handling peer pressure, dealing with negative influence that comes with peer pressure. So I'll be speaking tonight on the subject peer pressure with subtopic dealing with negative influence. And then I'm going to add as an addendum personal hygiene for you. I want you to listen very well. And if it's very possible for you to get this video or audio, I want you to listen over and over, over and over, over and over again and again. It will bless you. Okay, so we start the meeting tonight. Peer pressure. Now, what are my objectives to speaking with you this evening? One, I want you to understand the meaning and impact of peer pressure. I don't want to assume that you know it. You may be expressing it, but I want you to understand the meaning and the impact of peer pressure. Number two, I want you to understand how to deal with the negative influence caused by peer pressure. I want you to understand how to deal with the negative influence caused by peer pressure. And then lastly, number three, I want you to understand what is peer pressure? What is peer pressure? Before the network issue, I stopped at the point I want to define peer pressure for you. What is peer pressure? Peer pressure is the direct effect on the character or behavior of someone by people of the same age and status. Let me say that again. Peer pressure is the direct effect on the character or behavior of someone by people of the same age and status to behave according to socially acceptable conventions or standards. Let me come with that again. Let me come again. Peer pressure is the direct effect on the character or behavior. Look at one word, effect. Number two, character or behavior. And then people of the same age. And then also highlight to behave according to socially acceptable conventions. So when we're talking about peer pressures, we're talking about the effect that's on somebody's character or behavior by people of the same age or status when they push you or they influence you to behave according to a particular manner. And such manners are generally socially acceptable standards. For instance, there is a young man in Lagos that his issue, I don't want to mention his name, you may know, that his issue came up last year and then gathering a lot of followership from young people. And then they call themselves some kind of funny names. They behave somehow, they dress somehow, they do some funny things. So somebody might be pressured to join that gang because the group is enlarging, or maybe the immediate friends are in the group, the immediate friends are doing things that such groups are doing, and then because you don't want to be an odd one out, or maybe they pressured you join. So that's a practical example when somebody is being pressured and then to behave or to act in some manners by the people of the same age and status. They're making you behave in such a way that is socially acceptable. And then most times, some of these pressured behavior are not what most persons like. Now you understand this as we're going on. You may not like this. I may not, as a person, like this, but there is a way that this prayer comes together that it's like it forces the person at the receiving end to want to succumb and then follow the people. You know, it's always said that if you can't beat them, join them. Now, and I used to answer this to younger people because that was my value, my key when I was much more younger. Now, if you can't beat them, they say join them. And then my addendum to that is if you can't beat them, stand out. So I'm talking to you today. If you can't beat them, stand out. Stand out and let them be on their own. Stand on your own and make a difference of your own. You are not obliged to succumbing to peer pressure. You don't have to follow what they're prioritizing you to do. Now, that's peer pressure. I want to talk about some causes of peer pressure. I want you to listen to this and follow. What are things that you need to look after that causes peer pressure? You need to understand this perfectly well. And I'm going to tell you two personal stories of myself. Wow. I had practical experiences of peer pressure that shook the environment I was in those stage of my life. I will tell you those two stories, and then you are going to love these stories perfectly well. Now, when Auntie Tima told me about this particular topic, I was so excited because I'm not going to be talking about something body else outside. I'm talking about me that I'm talking to you, my experiences, two of them, and you're going to enjoy them. So now I'm going to talk to you now. What are the causes of peer pressure? Number one is disappointment or rejection from families or loved ones. When a boy does not feel the love of parents, when a young boy, a young man feel disappointment in his parents, feel rejected from family or from loved ones, and you feel deserted, at that state is subject to following any way, any gesture anybody brings to him or her to him rather. Now, a child whose parents couldn't pay school fees, or maybe parents are having disagreements, or they are divorced, or not growing up from a good family. Now, another person can just come as a suggestion, maybe in the class, that, oh, this is what I just discovered. Let's visit so place, and before you know it, then it might be such person is being introduced to joining a gang or something, and then before you know it, the person is just following just like that, because the person is coming from a background of disappointment or rejection from family or loved ones. But should such person take such decision? The answer is no, capital no. Even though if you have disappointments or you feel rejected from family or loved ones, it is not enough decision for you to succumb or to follow peer pressure, because the end of following peer pressure is danger. Let me say that to you now in clear terms. When you follow peer pressure, the end of it is danger. The end of it is not good. So that's one, disappointment or rejection from families or loved ones. Number two is low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. When you don't have a robust opinion of yourself, you don't know your self-worth, you feel less of yourself. When you are amidst your friends, you feel that you are lower to them. You feel that you are the last person among them. That feeling is not good. You're not supposed to have that feeling. You're supposed to have a good esteem of yourself. You're supposed to know that you are created by God, one. Number two, you have a good destiny. Your destiny is not related to who your parents are or are not, because God created you on his own is enough. God created you for purpose. God created you to fulfill purpose. God created you with a great destiny. So if you have that understanding, it is enough for you to have a good esteem of yourself. You don't look down at yourself. You don't look at the situation that is happening around you today to conclude your life and destiny. But if a boy is suffering from low self-esteem, he's seeing himself as a lower class person, somebody will just come with like a bully and just suggest something to the person. Can we go to this social place? And then the person just stylishly or foolishly follow the person. And as you are following, the person is following. Before you know it, things are happening. One thing is following another. You see yourself succumbing and just following doing bad behaviors just because of low self-esteem. The third reason is fear. A fearful boy is prone to danger. A faithful child, a faithful boy, or a faithful young man has all tendency of meeting with danger in the future. You don't have to live with fear. You understand? Be courageous. One character, one or attribute of every successful man is courage. Let me tell you that today. For you to grow up to becoming a great man, to grow up to becoming a lovely man, one thing that is very important is courage. You must be courageous. So don't be fearful. For a young boy that is always fearful, that is always afraid, such person, these bad guys will just come, we suggest something bad to the person, and then the person will just fearfully follow, join, and we succumb to that peer pressure. The fourth point is lack of direction and lack of vision in life. Now, when you don't have direction, when you don't have vision, you don't have passion. Listen to me. This generation now, you see young boys of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, younger boys with passion. Maybe they want to become a lawyer, or somebody like writing, or some of them like music, or like creating, or like I have a 9-year-old son. He loves writing. You see, about a week ago, he drafted an agreement, like a business agreement between a company that is seeking for the service of a contractor, like a construction company, seeking for the services of a contractor. Only him drafted an agreement. You understand? He drafted an agreement between the company and the contractor and slated the rules that they have to follow. I've discovered that I love writing. So you need to discover your passion. Have a direction and focus on that, your passion and your gifting. When you are diligent with your passion and your gifting, you may not be able to fall for peer pressure. Are you getting me? Because you know where you are going to. It is somebody who doesn't know where he or she is going to that misses the way. Listen to that again. It is someone who does not know where he or she is going to that misses the way. Like for instance, now you want to fly to Lagos from Abuja, and then you get to Port Harcourt, and then somebody is telling you, "Oh, can you just join me? I'm going to Sokoto. If we get to Sokoto, you will still get to Lagos." It is a foolish person that will join that person. And that is exact picture of what peer pressure is all about. Peer pressure is when you meet people who want to force you to follow their way, like the person that was flying to Lagos from Abuja now was forced to follow the person going to Sokoto. There are two directions apart. So if you know that there are two directions apart, you don't follow such kind of person. The last point for today that causes peer pressure is lack of personal core values. If you don't have values for yourself, somebody will just subject for you and then you follow. Like for instance, now sagging of trousers. Is sagging of trousers good? Is it a good trend? No. Now, you might have developed your personal value that you are not going to be sagging trousers. So if somebody now come to you and suggest, oh, big boys of our generation are sagging trousers, you tell the person, no, it's not part of my value. I am not sagging trousers. You may even respond that my dad is not sagging trousers. My mentor is not sagging trousers, or I've not seen my pastor sag trousers before. So my value is that I don't sag trousers, and you walk away from that person. So you need to develop personal core values that if anybody comes to you to suggest to you anything contrary or different from those values, you don't take them in. Those are 5 points, and I think those 5 points are enough for you to meditate over for now. There are some other ones, but we need to go further. Now I'm going to go forward to telling you 3 stories. Please listen to these stories. Number one, I want to tell you, or what I call contemporary stories of peer pressure. Now, there's a story of a young man called Mike. He's age 16 years. I want to read out what he wrote. I want to listen very well now. And this is quoting Mike. Now, Mike, 16 years old boy. He said, I smoked my first cigarette when I was 11. I didn't want to, but all my friends were smoking, and I didn't want to be out of the group. Once I started, I couldn't stop. I became addicted. I wish I hadn't started. I knew it was wrong, and I didn't want to. Did you listen to? Listen to friends were smoking. So he didn't want to be out of the group. Now, that is the problem of peer pressure, when you want to forcefully be among wrong groups. Listen to me. If the group is wrong, find your way out. What did I say? If the group is wrong, find your way out. Mike in this story did not want to be out of the group. So he was forced to smoking cigarettes because that is what the group of the boys were doing. Now look at him. He said he knew it was wrong and didn't want to, but now he has gotten himself addicted to it. He started smoking at the age of 11 and now he's 16 now. Can you see? Now, if you know it is wrong, what you need to do is to walk away. Listen to me, friendship is not by force. Listen to that again. What did I say? Friendship is not by force, but it is by choice. If there is a friend or a group of people who are forcing you to do wrong, you walk away from them. Are you getting me? Mike is in the midst of the group of people who are forcing him to do what is wrong. And because he wasn't bold and courageous enough to walk away from the group, he succumbed and he followed the suggestion or the paper suggestion of his group and started smoking. Now he has gotten himself addicted to smoking at 16 and he's regretting. He's regretting. He wanted to stop the smoking now, but he can't stop it because he has gotten himself addicted to it in the first place. So that is why before addiction comes, make sure that you guard yourself out of groups of people who are always suggesting you for you to do bad things. Now that's the story of Mike. Now I want to tell you my personal story. My name is Mayowa. Now, some years ago, well over 2 decades ago, when I was writing my SSC, I researched for my SSC in that particular school. My first sitting of SSC, I think I had P7 in English or something. I was a bright child, but the result that year wasn't good. Now I had to resit because of English. Now in that new school where I was going to resit for SSC, and I know most of you will be in that level now. Maybe you are in secondary school, or you are writing GSS3 exam, or you are writing SSC. Now listen to this story very well. To bless you. Now when we were planning for the exams, our physics teacher, I was a science student, came to class one day and then gave our classmates the story that they wanted to hear. But wasn't okay with me. He told them that when the exam time comes, they don't have to firstly do practicals. He will generate readings and give it to all of them. Number two, they are not going to disturb themselves for theory. In theory exam, he will dictate theory answers to theories to them, and also he will dictate the answers to the objectives to them. Now, when he said that, I objected and I raised up my hands. This is it. Follow this story very well. I was not going to keep quiet to what is evil. Listen to this instruction. Don't always keep quiet to what is evil. You know what is good. You know what is evil. Don't keep quiet. Don't allow what is evil around you. Now, I said I wanted to speak, and he allowed me to speak. I told him, no, when he now told them all those, before that, he now told them that they are going to contribute some amount of money, of which all of them they were happy that they were going to contribute those money for him. And now raised up my hands. I said, can I speak? He said, go ahead. I told them that I am standing out of that plan. That can't me out. I am making a request now that you set practical for me, because my parent paid for it, and it is my right to do that practical. And the exam or theory or objective, don't give me nothing. I trust God to study my book and read for me to pass. And everybody started murmuring, and they started calling me those names. I don't know the name of textbooks or physics that you people use this generation. That generation that was Abbott, that was much more older, and then that was Okeke. They started calling me, Mr. Abbott, Mr. Okeke, and they said no problem. Now let me tell you the development of that story, the good part of this story. Immediately when I stood up, I implanted courage in the hearts of few other students. We are like about 60 in the 2 science classes of that school. Immediately I stood up, I said, I'm not going to be part of paying the teacher for readings. About 5 or 6 other persons stood behind me. I became a pay setter. They stood behind me that they are going to join Mayowa, that they are not going to pay for him. They are going to pay. They won't pay for readings. They are not going to bribe teachers. That they should be allowed for them to do their exam and their practicals also. I became a pay setter. I became a leader in that particular scene. See, listen to me. When you stand for what is right, I'm telling you, people are looking for who will stand as a leader for what is right. When you stand for what is right, others will follow you. Are you getting me? So I want to challenge you to always be the first person to stand up for what is right. You will see that other persons will follow you. In my own case, about 7 persons follow you. And then we now formed a reading group, a study group with those of us 8. I was dissecting Okiki and Abbott for them because I love physics and I know physics a lot. Now, to cut long story short, when the exam came, I was allowed to do the practicals, and then though they cut short my time for the practicals, and we did the theory. Do you know the story of this thing, how it ended? In that particular year, among almost 60 persons that sat for physics exam in that school, Mayowa Falabi, was the only person that had credit in physics. Did you hear me? I was the only one that had credit in physics. I read Okeke, I read Abbott from page to page. I got myself prepared. The principal of that school was so happy and excited. Only by himself took my result and took it to my dad at home, eulogizing and appreciating his son, that his son is a leader. He's a son, he's a good child. That look at what happened. Giving me kudos. Are you hearing this evening or whatever time they did that you are listening? Now I became a star in that system. The people that the teacher gave readings did not pass physics, but me that I studied, I passed. That is the power of standing for what is right and not following the crowd. Refuse to follow the crowd in your lifetime. This is the second story. And then my second story came when I was at the university. When I now get admission into the university as an undergraduate in my first year, my school in Obafemi Awolowo University in Ilefe, Osun State, and I studied engineering. Now, in our school, then, 12 of us was allocated as young graduates. Now, in my school then, about 12 of us were allocated into same room. And I was so unlucky, mark the word unlucky. I was so unlucky that I was the only cool-headed young man in that room. The remaining 11 persons look as if they were friends that came together from Lagos together. And then I was meant to be a believer already that time, and then talking, love the Lord. And then these people, all of them, they are chain smokers. They are clubbers, young boys. And then you see, when they are traveling from Lagos, they are traveling back. It's always full with cartons of cigarettes. They are always smoking, and the room is always filled with smoke. And I was allergic to smoke. I was once asthmatic. And then the Lord healed me. It was God that healed me when I got born again. So I was allergic to smoke or cigarette or all those things. I'll be telling them they should stop smoking. That's not good for me. And I'm going to preach the gospel also to them. So I will always be telling them, follow me to church and whatever. They will be troubling me that I should follow them to club. I should follow them to their birthday party and all those things. Now they did a lot of things. Let me run this story of myself because I see how to tell you how to overcome peer pressure. Now, they did everything. There was one time in the middle of the night, they woke me up, 3 of them. No, they didn't wake me up. I was sleeping. They lit cigarettes and they put it in my mouth. They said, by force, Pastor, you must smoke cigarette. I coughed out of that sleep and I was just almost gasping, and the Lord helped me. Now, eventually, with the evil of what they did, now listen to back to what they do also to frustrate me to join them. I will cook. They don't cook. I know how to cook as a young man. I will cook nice meal. Maybe I want to eat the food for a full day in school. Now, the food will be cooking when it's about being done. Maybe I went to the toilet to eat myself. Before I come back, they will snatch my pot and they will run away. They just wanted to frustrate me and then to join them. They did everything possible. They invited me. One of them told me one day, Pastor, you see that you don't have a girlfriend? Listen to this very well. You are in that stage. Now, I said, I don't have. I'm a child of God. I don't need such. They told me, if you can't toast a girl, they will toast one for you. And I told them that I don't need such. It was a decision. Are you getting me? Now, they did everything to frustrate me in that room and to join the women into their gang. This is a practical example of peer pressure. But instead, I kept telling them about Christ. I kept telling them what they were doing was wrong. I had to go and report them to the student union government of the school, who came to warn them of the atrocities they were committing against me. To cut the long story short, because I stood on my ground, they never won me to their side. But I was able to win about one or two about them to God's side, letting them know that what they were doing was wrong. Now, this is the message. Peer pressures are going to come, but stand your ground. Are you hearing me? Stand your ground. Stand your ground, and then stand for what is right. Always stand for what is right. Now, those are my two experiences, are my two practical stories. Whatever issues and situation you find yourself, what is the instruction? Stand your ground. Stand for what is. Always say no to what is wrong. Are you getting me? The world is looking for pace setters, looking for role models, looking for trailblazers. I want to charge you today to be a trailblazer, be a pace setter. Be a trendsetter. Look at the word I mentioned, trendsetter. Instead of following bad trends, following evil trends that the generation is bringing up, be a trendsetter of good things. Stand out on your own and set trends of what is right, even when others are setting trends or following trends of what is wrong. I hope you are enjoying this conversation this evening. Now, let me go to dealing with negative influence, and I want to read some scriptures. Now, I love the Bible very well. Now, I'm going to rush through this because of time. Dealing with negative influence. I'm reading from Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 6 to 8. I want you to read this Bible. I want to trust that you are a believer, you are a Christian. Read this portion of the Bible yourself, especially the message version. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 6 to 8. Let me rush it. Now, the Bible says, and when your brothers or sons or daughter, or even your dear wife or lifelong friend comes to you in secret and whispers, peer pressure people come in secret and whispers. Now, look at what they say. Let's go and worship some other gods, gods that you know nothing about, neither you nor your ancestors, the gods of the people around you, near and far, from one end of the earth to the other. Now they come to tell you to do things that are wrong, things that you don't know about, like smoking or clubbing or stealing or lying or whatever it is. They come to you. These people come to you. But look at the instructions, and these are the instructions I'm going to be giving to you. Number one is don't go along with him. Number two is shut your ears. Number three is don't feel sorry for him. And then number four is don't make excuses for him. These instructions are in Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 6 to 8, the message translation of the scripture. I want you to study it and then you will see these things there. The first thing is don't go along. When your friends are coming to you, or classmates or peer pressures are coming to you, asking you to do what is wrong, smoking, sagging of trouser, stealing, or lying, or whether or any of those things, the first instruction is don't go along. And in explaining that, I will tell you that you should never join an inglorious cause. Never join something that is not good. Never join what is evil. Don't go along with what is evil. Don't go along with anyone, close relatives or friends or classmates, whispering and asking you to do wrong. If you can't beat them, they say join them. I've said this before, but I say to you, if you can't beat them, stand out. Don't go along. Make a difference. Stand for God. Stand for purpose. Always run away from such kind of people. Don't go along. The instruction is what? Don't go along. In dealing with negative influence, in dealing with peer pressure, don't go along. Turn your back and go to face the right direction. Now, the number two from that scripture is shut your ears. Shut your ears. Shut your ears means that you should block your ears to what is wrong. Block your ears to what is wrong. When somebody is suggesting what is wrong, oh, Caleb, can we go and steal our teacher's money? I saw money there. It's a wrong suggestion. What you need to do is that you shut your ears for such kind of person. And I'm telling you, be careful how you hear, be careful what you listen to. If somebody is always telling you what is wrong, run away from that person. What you hear will affect every part of your life. You must learn to shut your ears to any whisper that can inflict you with blister. Any word that can injure your life, that can endanger your life, run away from it. Don't even listen at all. Run away. You do not listen at all to words or people that can derail you from God and from your purpose. Stage a walk out continuously. Always walk out of the person. Don't listen to such kind of a person. If you listen, those words can generate into you and start generating some stops. Are you hearing me? Don't listen at all. That's the number two step. The number three is don't feel sorry for him. Now, feeling sorry for him is an emotional reaction of doing what someone requests of you, though against your will. Maybe because you want to satisfy the person or you want to be in that particular gag, just because you feel sorry for the person. Never do anything worthwhile or change your values because you feel sorry. The instruction is don't feel sorry if it is a negative influence. Learn to say no without being sorry, but joyful instead for doing what is right. Be joyful always for doing what is right. Don't feel sorry for doing what is wrong. Always say no to what is wrong. Number four, and the last, is don't make excuses for him. Don't make excuses for people. It is not good to make excuses for people in life. It is good to make excuses for people in life, is what I want to say, but not on an issue directly pertaining to your life and a wrong influence. If you know it is wrong influence, don't excuse the person. Learn to say no and mean it. Listen to this. Learn to say no and mean it. You understand? Learn to say no. I mean, for instance, I give if somebody is okay, you are in the university, and then somebody just walk up to you that is inviting you to a birthday at the club or at the bar. Is club or bar a place for you to go? That's the first question. The answer to that is no. Now, your response to such invitation is what? Capital no. I am not going. I don't go to club, and I don't go to bar. Now you can't make excuse for that person that okay, is it not just birthday party and people do birthday anywhere? No, the place that person was doing that birthday is a wrong place for you to be. So because it's not because of the birthday or the person in quote now, but that venue is the wrong venue, and because it's a wrong venue, what do? You say no, and you don't follow to such kind of venue. If you follow these four principles, you will discover that the grace to overcome the perils that comes around you will come upon you. Now, this is my conclusion in this aspect. My conclusion is in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10. I repeat it again. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 10. I want you to read it on your own also. That scripture says in the Message translation that, dear friends, if bad companions tempt you, don't go along with them. If bad companions tempt you, what is it? Don't go along with them. That is a clear instructions on how to handle peer pressure. Dear friend, dear son, dear young man, if bad companions tempt you, don't go along with them. When they suggest bad attitude, bad things to you, what is the instruction here? Don't go along with them. And I leave you with that instruction, young man. If bad friends tempt you, what do? Don't go along with them. Say no to bad companions. Now that is peer pressure and how to overcome peer pressure. And I hope you have been really blessed. Now let me add this little as an addendum. Your personal hygiene as a young man. And I will list out some few points for hygiene for you as a young man as you are growing up. Now, one of the good personal hygiene for you as a young man growing up is that make sure you have your bath minimum twice every day. Bathe yourself in the morning, bathe yourself at night before you sleep. I'm telling you now, as I'm talking to you now, as I finish speaking now, I'm entering the showers and I'm going to have my bath. So bathe yourself minimum twice in a day. That's one. Number two, this number two, I want to tell you, I'm saying it warning you. Most young men fall into this trap. Make sure that you don't wear your boxers for more than 2 days maximum. Some young men may be wearing boxers for 34 days. It is unhygienic. It is not good for you. It is unhealthy. Make sure that you don't wear boxers for more maximum 2 days. And there are even exceptions to those 2 days. Now, There are sometimes maybe if you go out for aerobics, you go out to play with friends, you play ball, you sweated very well, and then by the time you're coming back, you may have sweated even inside your boxers and it is soaked. Immediately you are coming back, even though you were just wearing that boxers for that day, it is already dirty because you sweated. Are you getting me? So it's already dirty. And learn to wash your clothes by yourself. Learn to wash your clothes by yourself. Are you getting me? Learn to wash your clothes by yourself and learn to wash them clean. And the third point I want to let you know is to brushing of your mouth. Brush your mouth clean very well. Now, let me show you a sign of brushing mouth. A lot of person brush mouth zigzag this way. If you see me little in this video, you don't brush zigzag. You brush your mouth up and down, up and down, up and down. Brush your mouth very well. um, Let your mouth be always clean. And then the fourth point is that you use body roll on. Body roll on. Ask your parents, or if you can get it for yourself, get yourself a body roll on. And now, when I was in the university, or as a young man, I like to use Sure product. Until now, I still use Sure product. So Sure products body roll on is good and it's not that costly. As a young man, learn to use body roll on. And then fourthly is when you are at the puberty stage and then ears are growing in your private parts, you don't allow them to get bushy. You can clear off, or you can clear off the ears in your private part and make yourself clean and make yourself good. Are you getting me? These are things that are very important to a young man that we guard against. That we guard against smelling or having a body odor. If you do all these things that I put together, I really hope that I've been able to talk to you this evening. I have felt as if I've downloaded very well, and then I know your life will never remain the same. I want you to listen to this all over and over again and follow this instruction. Stand out, blaze the trail in your generation. God bless you. Thank you. And Tentima, if you're listening, I'm done. I don't know.
Thank you so much, sir, for keeping to time. Thank you. I was just looking for the signs to know that you were done. Um, so I saw that some of us came in while he was on. No problem. I'll send the recording to you. I believe that you had an amazing time. The issue of peer pressure will not end, it will continue. So the earlier you learn refusal skills, okay, how to say no without apologizing, how to say no and be comfortable with it, the better for you. Any questions? I see that Tisan is here and Dadenis are here. Any questions? You can type on in the chat room, or you can send the question to me and I'll get it across to your mentor. Okay, so in the absence of anything, I would like to just say thank you so much, Uncle Mayowa. I know that this was an amazing session, and I'm super happy that we have you and we can have you every time that we want you to come to the academy. Thank you so much, sir.
I
God
appreciate it too, ma.
bless you. God bless you. So,
Amen, amen, ma.
thank you, guys. See you in 2 weeks as we have our General Assembly. Good night and have a blessed weekend. Bye.